Well, this meeting of the Harwich Cemetery Commission to order at 9:01. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
First off, we get the two meetings typed up by Cindy, did one,
And I did one.
and Robin did one.
Thank you, Cindy, so much.
We'd like to see if we can approve the December 15th meeting and June 7th. You all get a chance to read it?
Yep. So moved.
So for both of them, Steve?
Yeah.
I mean, Rob?
Yep. Motion to accept both.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Cool. Can we start off with an email from Jewel Buckwald?
Yep, so, she came down, they were looking over their lot, and I think they're gonna be having an interment soon, and the two shrubs are so overgrown, she wanted them removed. So I put in a work order to the DPW for them to remove them. And another thing I have to say is Pete, our new guy, has been working with Jim, and they've been going around to all the cemeteries. I have seen them in Mount Pleasant as well as in Island Pond, trimming up all the shrubs and doing all the, I mean, unbelievable work.
Getting all
that
the weed whacking and stuff done
I,
too?
I am amazed at the stuff they were doing.
Great.
So he's a real go-getter, so Pete is a very welcome addition to our crew. I couldn't attend a service this weekend, so he went. Jim was away as well, so it's working out very convenient for us. So he's witnessed burials before, so he's
Knows
at
what
his
to do.
old job, so he's great.
Okay. I think maybe under new business or other business to have those two come over.
Yeah, I asked, yeah.
And we can go through the list of the cemeteries we've seen and what projects we'd like done, and they may have an idea of the best way to accomplish some of that.
So, when I had to meet with them yesterday down at Mount Pleasant, as you know, Rosemary O'Neill passed away, so I had to meet with Kip down at the gravesite. And he realized he hadn't purchased his lots. And so then I didn't know if the lots behind them were our property, so Paul Doan came down yesterday and we pulled all of the lot information for the layout for Mount Pleasant. And we are gonna clear that whole swath behind where Tip is, because we own 60 feet back behind there. So we're making a whole, we're just gonna clear 10 feet. So Brian from the DPW, as well as Jim and Pete, met me down there, and we went over. We'll probably have to have the tree guy come in and remove a couple trees. But I already had 3 or 4 people interested in purchasing lots over in that section. So I think once it's cleared, we'll recoup anything that we'll have to put out for the tree guy and with the first sale of the lot, so.
Okay. So on the Buckhole lot, we've got it's all been put in to take the shrubs out?
Yep, that one's all done.
Cool. Is there any other stuff over there they can pull out while they're driving around? pulling
Evergreen's
shrubs?
actually in pretty good shape. It's one of our, I think it's like one of the best in shape cemeteries that we have. I think there's other ones that need a lot of attention. They did go down to Pine Grove, and I don't know if you remember those trees that were dying on the end of the street. We had put in a worker, they removed all of those, and they are stump grinding all the ones they removed. So when they were there yesterday, they were stump grinding the trees that they removed in Mount Pleasant when I was.
Then Island Pond too, because there's
Yep.
some in there. So they're running around tidying up all the,
Yeah, well, they don't have to mow right now because the grass is not growing because there's no water.
right, which is nice. I think everything trimmed up really
It'll-
nice.
They have a little break.
Yeah, that's cool. And a letter from Helena Lambert on her father's lot in Island Pond?
So, her dad, also had a house in France, and he ended up dying over, seas, and he is buried in France. So they wanted, to sell back the lot to us, which we're more than, happy to take. It's a 2-grave lot, and at the time, he paid $600 for it, so,
For both lots?
total. So, we are reimbursing her the $600, and then we'll have those 2 lots available for sale. So you guys will just have to sign this. I can just pass it around. And then, I'll put that in the next, warrant so that we can reimburse them.
And Then we have the email with the updated selectmen liaison assignments and the selectmen's policy and the role of the liaison.
Yep. So they change the selectmen's appointments, I think, every year or every other year. And I have now, instead of, we used to have Julie, and now we have Don Howell. So I CC'd Don, when I send you guys your packets, I'll send him a packet, and if he's available to come, or he can watch remotely, and so that he's familiar with the way the cemetery is going.
Yeah, I can reach out to him too and just sit down and go over whatever he wants to.
Yep.
If you want to do stuff or figure out what we're doing or how to do things or to that extent.
Perfect.
Look forward to meeting with him at some point. Then we have a letter from Tricia and Dave Vanderwater. in
Yeah, the
Island Pond.
the Vanderwaters, their lot was on the hill in Island Pond, and it was pretty all sandy. All of the trees kind of near where they were taken out during the tornado. So it used to be a moss-covered lot, so then they wanted to do some upkeep. They are both horticulturists, so they did a lot of native species so that it wouldn't require a lot of water around there. And their headstones are all stone, but they did plant a tree, and we have,
Picture over there, the Japanese,
yeah.
I'm even gonna try to pronounce that.
So, the tree's been planted, and it's starting to get fruit, I think, believe it or not. I think it's a peach tree,
Well, that's cool looking.
yeah. Forgot to put that in the packet, but,
Now, the roots won't take over the whole.
nope, no,
Right?
no, it's pretty compacted,
It's on the list of approved
yep.
things.
Yeah, we've had a couple people planting lately, so it's been kind of nice for us. Are you doing the tree identifying?
Yeah, it's a Japanese lilac or something like that. There's pictures of it, it's flowers and
Yeah.
whatever you can
Some
see.
fruit or something.
Yeah. Also known as the Korean Stuartia. Yeah.
Whereabouts is the lot in Island Pond?
So if you were going on like Crossroad Extension all the way up to the back, I'm kind of where it's diagonally across, kind of from the ginkgo tree, you know, where the ginkgo tree and the John Redwood is on the hill. Right before you get to the native species garden.
Okay.
If you came down one street coming.
Oh, right there, that, where the road comes up.
Yeah,
We were
yeah.
looking at the lot there, it looked like it was all washed out.
Yeah, yeah, so that's where they did it. And they had a nice service for their, both their parents had passed away over the last 2 years, so they had a service the same day.
So there's a lot of people interested in donating trees or doing something like that?
So they did, and then we had this other lady also donate a tree on July 5th. So we planted the Japanese Stuartia. This was donated by Elizabeth Lamb. So her mother is also buried in Island Pond near the lily pond. And the 3 trees that were around the lily pond, all those 3 pine trees came down as well. And so she planted this tree with Maddie. It was one of Maddie's last things that she did, so
Yeah, she did a great job on that garden though.
I know, it's beautiful.
In Island Pond, remember there was one lot, you passed the old section just before you dip down the hill? There was an open lot in the corner, she wanted a tree planted there because everybody was cutting the corner. Did that ever
Yeah.
take place?
No, so I talked to Russ Norton from the Cooperative Extension, and he actually assists me when we do plantings. Like I ask him if, you know, what's the soil for this tree or whatever. So I usually reach out to him every time we're planting a tree, but he doesn't want me to plant any trees until the drought is over, because I will have to water them too much, and we're not supposed to be watering. And he just says, you should just wait till the fall. And then if you want to, you can plant right, you know, in the fall. So I, right now, I'm putting all the new plantings on hold until the drought's over.
So we should probably come up with a list of other places we want trees and get, like, if we get the
Yes.
trees, might as well do them all in one shot.
Right. Well, we are supposed to be planting the trees in Evergreen, in Mount Pleasant, and in Island Pond, those 3 areas. were those were the 3 cemeteries that were really hit by the tornado. So, when we went to town meeting, those were the 3 cemeteries we requested that.
And we still have money in that fund or something?
Yeah, and Megan did reach out to me and ask me, what was the status, and I explained to her that Russ didn't want me to plant right now during this drought, and we'd either lose the trees or, they would really have a hard time, we'd struggle in this condition, so. I told her that we will be looking at planting some in the fall. I don't know if we can spend I think it's $20,000, so it's a lot of money. And usually we buy the smaller, mediums.
Size trees, you
Yeah,
get more.
we're not gonna get baby trees, but, so that we can get more of them. And Maddie really wanted us to plant some tulip trees, because those were her favorite. She asked us, if you plant a tulip tree, take a picture and send it to me. Which was kinda nice.
An email from Phoebe on the town of Harwich individual placement application.
Yeah, so,
Upcoming year.
Yeah, so me and Amy did a joint application this year. They didn't have as many people apply, so we are gonna share a person. So Amy will have her for 2 days, and I'll have her for 1 day, or him, whoever we get. And then we'll switch. Then I'll have her for 2, and she'll have her for 1. If they do get more people apply, we'll each get 1 person for 3 days. But right now, it looks like we're sharing a person. So we did a joint application. We went to the graduation as well, and we did the girls' end of the year evaluations, which they all did excellent. I can't say enough about the assistance that the AmeriCorps gives us for all of the little projects that we do, so,
Yeah, that's a valuable asset.
yeah.
That works really good.
And I just think next year, we have that other section that is kind of, when you go to the native garden to the right-hand side, which we could expand a little bit of the native garden back there. It's all kind of just woods and stuff.
Is there room for plots back up in there? Burial lots or whatever?
It kind of starts to really slope
Slope
down.
off. I didn't
so-
know if there was anything,
Yeah.
because there's a road there, right? It goes to
But,
the
and
right.
we still have all that land that's over on the right-hand side where we removed the Japanese knotweed, and that's supposed to be for future burial space.
Should we consider spots like that for cremation only? To expand that, since that seems to be a more occurring.
Or what, in the
for
back by the native garden? We could probably do,
Back there, but then we had that new section where all
Yeah.
the knotweed was.
yeah,
If we did that there, I'm just making a pile of stuff to sign later. If we go back there with that, because I think that's, like, the ground's been filled there, so that, we can't really put anything of, any structure there.
right.
Would it be better just to make that an expanded, cremation section?
Yeah. So on the top has been filled, but leading up from the bottom on the side has not been filled. A little hill, so maybe we could do we could do some,
Start up with
yeah.
full burials and then cremation up on the flat top part.
We might still have to strip that, because some of the knotweed is coming back, so I might have to
That stuff's terrible.
talk to Link about like grading that down and removing some of the material and getting some fresh topsoil, because it's just an ongoing battle.
Yeah, the
And
roots,
if we can remove it, I'd rather,
the roots go deep, I think.
yeah.
And you did the year-end evaluations?
Yep, so that, and I have that in the packet for you. So I just, she's obviously excellent. And she already has a new job. She starts with the, in Long Island, New York. She has a job, and she has a friend who had a job in Long Island already, so she's already got a place to stay. And I believe her first day is today.
A permanent job, or she's still in
Permanent.
AmeriCorps?
Permanent.
What will she be doing?
She's gonna be doing animal stranding, wildlife strandings.
Oh, good for
Yeah,
her.
so, which is really what her major is, so she was very excited about
Great.
that.
Excellent. Now we have an email from Joe Powers about the cemetery in the West Harwich Baptist Church.
Well, it really, the request came from Duncan Barry, and as you guys know, the West Harwich Church is for sale. The front building is for sale, and the cemetery in the back is one of those cemeteries that we had taken at town meeting in 1948. So I guess the pastor had given a hard time to some of the women from the Historical Society who were giving a tour there. And Duncan just wanted a letter from the town stating why we have the right to be on it, and that they were going to be having a tour. So I did draft a letter, it's in the packet, and I included also all of the backup information just for him on when it went to town meeting, when it was passed. I also included the US Postal certified thing because he did, I asked him to have it registered. So the letter just states, the members of the Harwich Historical Society will be hosting a tour at the West Harwich Baptist Cemetery on Saturday, July 16th. In 1948, the acts authorizing the town of Harwich to receive and administer the property of certain cemetery associations in said town. One of these is the Baptist Cemetery. The town holds and maintains these properties for cemetery purposes. This was passed at town meeting on May 3rd, 1948. The town has been maintaining the cemetery since, and the town and its residents have the rights to access and use the cemetery. The Historical Society has requested that participants park on the schoolhouse parking lot, and I just said, if you have any questions, please call me.
How long did it take you to research all this?
Well, I researched all of this because I had to research this information when we did the East Harwich Church for that CPC article, because people were questioning why we were fixing it. So that, it actually took a little bit of time to find it. But now that I found it, it's kind of nice, because now I have it in all the files, every cemetery it pertains to. I photocopied it and put it in there, each one of those cemeteries, so that we know which ones and when they were taken.
But is that church still an active church? Is why the pastor's still around? I thought it was,
I don't think it's active right now. I haven't seen any services being offered there. I know that they did at one point have an offer on the building, but I don't know if it's gone through.
I heard it did not.
It did not go
did not exist. So then the pastor, he's still a pastor there then?
So I think the pastor's family bought him that church for him to do his services there. And now that it's no longer an active church, they're trying to sell it now. I mean, it needs a lot of maintenance, it needs a lot of work to be done there, so. I hope somebody restores it and does something with it. Be nice if somebody got it and did what we did at the South Harwich Meeting House and made it into a place for performance arts or something like that, but I don't know who would do that.
It's gonna happen.
It was a lot of work to do it to the South Harwich Meeting House. I'm just saying, it's a great property, and it's got beautiful stained glass windows in there. It's beautiful, so hopefully somebody will do that.
And then in other business, speaking of the, the meeting house, did they ever come up with a tool
So I know
shed
that was,
idea?
like, I was reading over the minutes from the other day. So Judy's away right now. I think, I tried to call her several times in the last 2 weeks. I think she's in Canada. She hasn't been able to go to Canada. That's where their summer home is, since COVID started. So I believe she's there. So as soon as she gets back, I'll get an update from her.
Up on that, and then, other new business, we talked the other day about burials on Sundays, how you could be stuck working 7 days a week if,
So no other town does burials on Sundays, and we've had several requests to do burials on Sundays. And I want us to put it in our rules and regulations that we're not doing burials on Sundays, because no other town does them. And it's tough enough in the summertime. I usually work 6 days a week. I don't want to work 7 days a week. But in order, if I'm not covering, say, for instance, if Jim was to cover, he would be paid time and a half for in a minimum of 4 hours, and our administration fee is only $100. So technically, the town is losing money if we have a burial on a Sunday. So I don't feel like we should be.
right?
Do we need to amend that then in the rules?
Yeah, before we submit them all.
Yeah, before we
Put a
submit them. And I
paragraph.
did also reach out to Megan, and I told her that we would be putting those on the town meeting warrant,
Okay.
the rules and regulations.
Or
So at
summer? Not this, isn't there a special one coming
Yeah,
up?
well, not for the special, but for next year. So we at some point should have we probably could do it in the fall, a public meeting, public hearing, so that everyone who wanted to participate. So I think we have to have at least one public hearing. I mean, it'll just be a meeting like this, and if people want to come and participate, they will.
We could
And
do
I
it.
know that some of the garden club girls, I call them the girls, women, do want to participate because they really don't like all the fake flowers, and they say, you know, we really allow a lot, and they would like to say why they think it should be
So
natural.
we set up sometime, we can revisit the rules and add those changes.
I think next
put it on
meeting,
next
since it
meeting,
came
Mr.
up, next meeting, and Robin, if you write a paragraph for that,
Okay.
burial constraint timeframes, whatever, however you
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to title it, and that
Yeah,
should
and I
go.
went, so one of the burials I did have too was at 4:30. So one Saturday, we had 6 burials. My first burial was at 10. My last one was at 4:30.
It's crazy.
It was a long day, but 4:30's late. So I don't know if we want to make hours. I'll look at the other surrounding towns.
Why
and
did- Yeah, and why don't just come up with what you guys, what you want and what you think is fair to the town, and put it under that admin section at the beginning where it's
Yeah.
hours,
Of operation.
contact information. I mean, I don't think it has to be a separate section in the rules and renumber everything. That should be
Yeah,
cemetery
that.
administration
yeah,
hours. Burials will be, are permitted between.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
Monday through Saturday, or even if Saturday, if someone has to go in, they get time and a half for that if you're not around.
right.
Should then we adjust the fee schedule to adjust the higher costs of the administrative
gonna
part
look-
of Saturday?
I just had that almost exact same thought, that if Jim's gonna get paid time and a half, that the burial fees outside of your hours should be adjusted.
Yeah.
As long as it goes to you and doesn't disappear
As long as it goes in the cemetery.
in something.
I'll look and see
You
what
see what
the
I'm
other, I'll see what the other towns are doing, if they adjust. I know that some of them do charge a different fee for Saturdays or nights, or late in the day, but I'll look and see what they do, and I'll bring it at the next meeting, and that way you guys can make a decision at that
I
point.
mean, that probably would have to be run by Joe to see
Yeah.
how that money comes in and goes to you and gets registered for your taxes and all of that.
If it's
You
treated like
see
the
where I'm going
regular
with that?
fees.
What?
Just make sure it's treated as the regular fees. We get it written up, I can go see Joe. if I
Okay,
want.
okay,
I'll go do that. And then maybe, and the Sunday thing, it's either straight up no, or if there's a special circumstance where somebody is just, that's the time they can do it, then they pay the extra fee and we'll make something that can happen if it just happens once in a great while.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's-
The
it's-
circumstances do come up where people just can't get here, go, or
So,
something.
yeah, I did have a burial that was happening this past, not this Saturday, Saturday before. It was scheduled for 11, and they could not get over the bridge. I mean, the bridge was jammed up. So we rescheduled it for, I think it was 2:30. So, I was waiting, and I was like, what's going, why is it here? Finally, they called, and they were like, we're gonna have to meet you at 2:30. We just, no, we can't get over the bridge. They didn't realize how bad the traffic would be on changeover day, so. Well, I think not all,
I
you know.
thought
if
that
they-
was well-known across the world.
Well, I think they were coming from Connecticut, and they didn't realize how much traffic there really was gonna be, but,
When you're writing this up, just brainstorming this, I mean, I'm all for, you know, your subs making some extra money, especially in the times we're living. As long as they're getting it, but the town should be reimbursed for it. And as long as we're doing that, then you should get reimbursed if you come in. And then we could do 7 days a week, pending
no,
availability of.
yeah, I'd rather
Hold
not
off
do,
on Sundays.
I'd rather not do, I mean,
But if the fee structure's adjusted, the
Yes.
first thing you said was the town loses money that way.
yeah,
But if the fee structure is adjusted for special circumstances.
Right.
Then it's a wash.
right.
But basically, no on a Sunday unless something significant happens and you have to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Robin, remind me, if you would, please, why it is that you attend the funerals. Is it due to COVID, or was it a state requirement?
No, it's a requirement, so you have to witness the burial, and on the death certificates, I have to sign off that I witnessed and it went into the correct lot in the correct space. So there is a sign off on the death certificate that you have to sign. Because if, say, we had 2 burials dug in Island Pond, and they
Right.
buried somebody in the wrong spot,
Pull up to the first spot and
yeah. I mean, it has happened, that Not here in Harwich, thank God. But in other places, it's happened. It almost happened once to us. Remember, they dug the
Yeah, that
wrong
was like a
place.
year ago, right?
Yeah. So you really want to make sure they're going in the correct lot, because you're liable for destroying the other person's lot as well as, you know, now we have to disinter, reinter. You want to make sure it's going in the right spot.
Thank you.
So we don't have to make a motion to add that to the minutes, or that's gonna be in another meeting to add it to the minutes?
Well, we can add that, we can do that at our next meeting. So I'll bring the packet of what we have approved up to this point. I'll bring what the other towns are doing for ours, and we can just amend that. And if that's our final draft,
Then we vote on
then
it.
then we can vote on that, and then we can pick a date for a hearing, and then submit it, a rough draft to Joe and Megan.
Okay. I'll do that later. And the Bank Street cemeteries, are we doing anything with that?
We have not, and I actually get a hold of, did I put it in here? So I get a hold of the fence guy finally, for two things. One would be for Pine Grove, remember, we have that outstanding one as well. The guy is going out there, I think tomorrow, to look at the chain link fence, to repair the chain link fence in the back, and then look at there's 3 sections, I believe, in the front where the chain link fence must have got hit by a snowplow or something that they're leaning, to see if they can just repair that as well. He is also gonna go over and look at, again, because the other guy that I've asked, I think it was All Cape Fence. So there's 2 fence companies, and I forgot that paperwork, I'm sorry, it's at my office, but,
I was just writing
they
down.
just cannot, he's just so backed up, he just cannot get out there. He's like, I get to it when I can get to it, so I called another company and see if they could do it, so. The new company is going out to look at the chain link fence in Pine Grove tomorrow, and he's gonna also go over to, Bank Street. So hopefully I'll have an update at the next meeting on both of those.
Actually, we gotta get the crew over there to do
Right.
some preliminary clearing.
Yeah, so they're gonna be using the deck to clear, Mount Pleasant. So I'll also ask them if they can then go over there and do that one as well.
And get it mowed down, so the guy with the fence, and what about a letter written to the guy to have his shrubs moved off the?
Yes,
We're talking Bank Street now?
yeah.
Because those are definitely on the, quite a ways in,
Right.
then we can get the fence put on.
That was on where are the minutes from our big tour?
So that's gonna, I didn't put those, remember I said I forgot to put those in the packet, so we'll put it on for next
Okay,
packet.
because I think that was in there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was in one
And
of our
you
first
know what
line
I'm gonna
items.
do too, I'll take a drive around with your minutes and see what's already been completed, so that way when we talk about it at the next meeting, I can tell you what's already been done, because they've been chipping away at the different things.
Because we were gonna take some trees down at a couple of places, would it be beneficial to have him, if he's gonna come in and do some other tree work, to hit all those things if he's in town? Get it all done in one shot?
So we only have him next week for Monday and Tuesday, and on Monday, he's already committed to doing, there's a lot of trees on the streets that are damaged, that he's doing all-day tree work on the streets. And then on Tuesday, he has to take one tree out, I forget where, but then the rest of the day's in Mount Pleasant. Did we have any trees in Mount Pleasant? We did have trees in Mount Pleasant we wanted to remove. There was a couple of leaves, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So I think those ones are already tagged up.
Especially the ones by the big tomb-looking things.
Okay,
Isn't that where we're taking the trees off the top of that?
Well, that
And
was,
fixing the grass?
those were line items to completely redo the mausoleum and what was it called, the staging, the waiting,
Those
The
tomb
the sh-
vaults?
The holding tomb?
holding tomb, thanks.
oh, okay,
Because the roofs have to be resodded, and
yeah,
this may not be a great time to do that either,
no,
without a
You're
natural.
not gonna get grass to grow at all.
you
Yeah,
know.
we'll be right back where we started.
And if the tree guy's in town looking around, do we wanna send him to the West Harwich Baptist Church and look at that tree that's gotta come off of that?
I don't think they'll have enough time on Tuesday, but we'll put in to see if we can get them to come back.
Just have a look at this stuff to give
Yeah.
us a rough ballpark idea of what's gonna cost. Now that I've said my piece, is any other old business or business? Okay, on to old business. Update for the totals of the revolving account.
So I did all of the end of the year totals for you last fiscal year, because now we're in a new fiscal year. So I just wanted them to include it in the packet for you.
We're in the packet.
They're in the very back, Cindy. Because I did them at the end. And why am
This is
I,
a seriously thick package you came up with this time.
I'm so sorry.
I looked at that,
Keep canceling meetings, that's what happens.
I looked on the phone, that came up 120 pages. Oh, my goodness.
And I don't understand because I'm missing the total page.
That one?
I'm gonna have to,
This one, the budget, no?
no, yeah, I'm talking about the revolving account. We're gonna have to revisit that one because I'm missing the last page. I had somebody help me staple them this morning and I think they gave me the wrong one. So the budget one, at the end of our budget for the year, we were, for the water, we were at, we had an extra $45.26. For mileage dues and subscriptions, we were over by $120.34. For supplies, we were under $280.44. And then my clothing allowance I didn't spend, which was $325. So, at the end of the, budget year, we will be returning back over to the town $530.36. So we were in good shape, so we didn't go over on our budget.
Did we increase anything that we need, anything increase in the budget? Different parts, or-
Not for this. So I think we probably want to change, so with the dues, subscription, and mileage, and the mileage is going to be going up because they just changed the price because of gas. So we might want to add a little bit of, and I'm sure they're going to say that we would be able to increase that. But I think that's about it.
Okay.
So I did a lot of procurement stuff, which is why the packet is so thick. So I've been working, because we really want this Veterans Memorial Circle done before Veterans Day.
Okay. Did we get an email on the procurements from
From
Megan
Megan.
Eldridge?
Yeah, so I've been working with Megan. She's been great getting all of this stuff done. So we did the procurements for the Veterans Memorial Circle. So we do have an electrical contract that has been
Awarded? Has it been
awarded. Yep, and the contract has been signed, and their insurance stuff is also in here.
So Farrell's gonna do that?
Farrell's is gonna do it, it's $36,525. And then Hamco will be doing the flagpoles, which is $15,489. We're a little bit over, so we'll be taking a little bit of that money out of the cemetery revolving account. So I had sent all that information into, the difference is $3,629, because we were awarded by the CPC $48,385. So, because the electrical contract came in higher, because everything's more expensive now from when we originally did this out almost 2 years ago, the $3,629 will come out of the cemetery revolving, which Megan said was perfectly fine.
Now, it said to put the things going, he's putting a post up in the middle by the gazebo. Do we move the
So, no, so
gazebo?
then this is, we want to discuss that, that's totally different, so that, this part is finished. Okay, so then, we did get it, we still were trying to look to get a, center, post
Yep.
holder for the flagpole, just to make it look a little bit more grand, like the other ones. Raymond Lynch from Cold Springs was at our conference that we went to, so I asked him to take a look at it. He does a lot of this work, but his price was extremely high.
Well, it's also coming from Minnesota.
That's where Cold Springs is.
There's nobody else.
So I did reach back out to Terry Ford, who is from,
That's the New Hampshire firm?
that's the New Hampshire guys. And he finally got back to me, believe it or not, this morning. And he originally bid, so to come from Cold Springs, it was $42,000, which,
Yeah, for a 6-foot diameter,
yeah.
that's gotta be all shipping.
So, for the Rock of Ages, who are really the largest quarry, theirs last year, when we bid it out, was 12,000, well, it was actually 12,836 with shipping. So I asked him if it was, could we possibly still get this piece? And he said to me it would be 10% more from last year, but,
So 14.6-ish.
yeah. So, yeah, I did the calculation, so it'd be 14,111.
42.
$14,119. But he said they cannot deliver it until a minimum of 6 months, because that's how backed up they are. They were shut down for COVID for so long that they couldn't have all the guys working in the building. And now that they're back, they're a minimum of 6 months. He won't even give me a date when they can deliver it. So, I also put in your packet, if you look at the very last page, there is a photograph of the Veterans Memorial Circle, which is in the New Hampshire one, which theirs is all just brick. And this picture doesn't really do it justice, and I think the brick looks beautiful. I mean, I'd love to have the post,
The big base.
I would, but could we add it late? We could probably,
Well, that was my question.
yeah,
Can the pole be popped out, the new base put on, and the pole reinserted?
yes,
Yes?
I believe so. I talked to the lady at,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so I did talk to her. They would,
Who?
the lady at Hamco,
Hamco?
yeah. So she says, as long as the opening is, because they're gonna drill down. They drill down to anchor the pole in anyways. So they're gonna be putting their footings in and all of the stuff, as long as it would be a cost. They would have to bring their crane to lift out the flagpole thing. Then their new base would be set, and then they would have to reinsert.
And how much is that?
I didn't get a price for that, but I could.
A lot.
We should also check to see what it would be if we didn't put the big base and just did a really, like, the center part where it's going, just a completely different paving type of stone. To make it
Either
look
like granite, just plain, like gray granite.
Granite, granite paving stone type of thing, and make that area a completely different pattern than what the rest of it's gonna be. So that part still stands out as a center focus.
So on this, and I wish I had a picture, I did on my phone and I couldn't find it this morning looking at it. The outside of it is almost like, it's not a gray granite around the edge, it's almost like a beige. Do you see the
It
difference?
looks like sand color.
Yeah, and then the inside is the red brick. When you're on it though, it's really pretty, and, on the outside perimeter, I wanted to do gray granite anyways, because that's where I want to put the benches, and the benches would adhere to the gray granite on the perimeter, which is phase 2. This is the phase 1.
How much are engravings?
To engrave on a brick?
Just, yeah, per word, per letter?
Usually it's per letter.
So I did, you know what, I actually pulled that from Waltham because they did it, but it's on my desk and I just don't.
Because what would look cool if he didn't do the granite
Yeah,
is, quote, that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I should be able to recite this. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States. I mean, you could stop that whenever you want. That's the oath of enlistment.
okay.
That would be
I like
nice to be
that.
on the main.
It would have to, you would start it at one point and it would go around. I mean, you could almost do the entire thing except leave off the I state your name.
Yeah,
You could just go, I do solemnly, and quotes, and you could,
yeah.
because everybody has said that, or a slight version of that.
Yeah. Well, that would be nice. So we could
Well-
get a flat gray, which would come, because it'd be flat. And there are actually like 7 or 8 vendors that do that locally that I could,
Stone would do that?
what?
The Stone would have that?
Stonewood would have it, we could get it from, there's a guy that Mount Auburn uses all the time who has tons of it. And then we also have, Tom does it, but I mean, I could actually put that out to bid with that specific quote on
Stating
it.
Around the outside
And I could
edge.
probably get like 5 or 6 people for the next meeting, and then you guys could pick. I mean, it would, like a regular procurement.
Right, I'd like to have that done then,
I really,
just to see what the cost is
and
on
I think
that
it would be a
versus
lot cheaper than the
12,000
base.
bucks. And it might look better too, it's,
Well, maybe, I mean, 12 grand, 14 grand isn't
Not that
that
much.
much money when
Yeah.
you're talking stone.
Right.
Now you're adding, because if
And
they
grade.
spell something wrong, it's like,
you can't just
we're not
erase it.
immortalizing that.
Well, they usually do a, I've seen Tom do engraving.
Yeah.
They usually type it out, and then they put it over, and then they
Yeah.
Stencil.
stencil it. Yeah, so it's,
That's what Tommy does, yeah.
yeah,
But on the bike path, it's RAOD. They fixed it, but it was
Yeah.
If you can get that
somebody had a late
information
night.
with that statement on it,
okay.
I think that would be,
Can you send me what you want on the statement?
Like, I'll email you the
Okay.
oath of the.
trim it down a little bit, so it's not all the,
Yeah,
It's
I
called
think
the
that would
oath.
be nice.
That's a great idea, Rob.
Okay.
but it just, I mean, it's, now we have a focus, I don't know, it's, I mean, we could also prop it at an angle, but
Yeah.
now the stones have to be bigger.
Thicker stone, so it's like a bevel around it,
Yeah, so they're like,
and it's written on the outside bevel.
Almost
only
like a
put-
hickey, like on a slant all the way around.
Yeah, and then, but then something that has to go in the middle, I don't know what, because now you have a gap,
Yeah,
because that would take up. I'm just, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, just so that by the flagpole, that patio was raised up inside. Yeah, I think that'd be nice.
I mean, it may even be possible to, I mean, I don't know the construction of this, to have I mean, you'd have around the circle inside of that arc of stones, or circle of stones, you could have even just pour concrete and then just something on top of it.
Pavers on top
Just
of
so it looked, yeah, pavers, or maybe the
You
same
can
stone.
almost even put dirt in there and put flowers.
You could, yeah, and then, will the garden club take care of it?
And then put like a little walkway in from each main flagpole.
They're just playing poppies.
I was
But that's
probably,
history there.
yeah.
And then on the procurement documents, we just did that.
So then we have an email from Megan on the Evergreen software. So remember we talked about doing Evergreen next, like we did Island Pond, where they'll go in and index all the stuff. So this is all the documentation that went with it.
Okay, I
So,
gotta find that.
So then I have to put this out to bid. I just wanted to put it in your packet so you,
I think we're in the packet of that wind up.
Oh, that's, is that this one?
that should, it looks like this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, here,
Oh, software, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it's gonna be the same thing, it's gonna have the 360-degree views and images, and what's really gonna be cool is, when this is done, we'll also have the Veterans Memorial Circle done. So, you know, that'll be the focal point of this kinda cemetery.
What, I can't remember, what did he say about doing updates as the veterans' path and stuff is finished?
Yeah, so they can come and do updates as every time. So he recently updated the Island Pond thing with the trails, you know, that trail that went down. So he recently took pictures, 360-degree views, and just put that up. And he has a new intern, so they called me and asked me for the new burials that we had, so they can go and take images of those and put them on the website. So he's been keeping.
That would be an interesting video to start when the Path of Remembrance, or whatever
Yeah.
we're calling it, start there and just slowly walk through it.
Yeah, do a little flyover, yeah, with the
Yeah,
drone.
well, down low, so you
Yeah.
can read
Yeah.
and see the monuments. that-
That'd be even nice if, once we have that written on the monument, to do a little
Yeah.
slow going around that. Okay, so I did get, because we have finished the Pine Grove Cemetery, I gave an update to CPC on the Village Green Restoration Project, which is in there. I don't know if you have this one. So I gave them that, as well as the East Harwich Union. So I gave them all of the stuff that pertained to them. So I gave them the update on the East Harwich Union, the flagpoles, and then gave them the Pine Grove information. So what we do, every time I finish a project with the CPC, I want to keep them updated so that they know where we are on these projects, so that way when they have their meeting, they know. So we'll be returning money to them that was left over, because when we originally went to town meeting for Pine Grove, they appropriated $75,000. The Village Green came in at $42,900.
Where is that paper?
Do you not have this? It was like 2 pages after, 3 pages after this? Is that stapled?
Oh, wait a minute,
It's all stapled together.
Yeah, yeah. So, go,
we're in the same one.
there, yeah.
Okay, mapping software.
So it should start with
Okay.
an overview, like the overview. Then I talked about the recreation article, which was article number 29, which was the Veterans Memorial Circle. So then I just list, the total of that at the bottom was $52,014. They appropriated at town meeting $48,385. The difference was $8,629, which will come out of the cemetery revolving account. And then the historic one, which will be going, that we just had approved at town meeting, was $118,800. That's going out for procurement, and the bid opening is August 10th here. So hopefully we'll have a lot of people bid on that. I did send something to Village Green. Have you guys been out to Pine Grove to see the finished work? It looks great. Really looks good.
That's since our tour, no.
Yeah, it looks really good. So I then put his final report, which I think I stapled for you guys in the packet. And I emailed it to Caleb so he could put it on our website as well. With all the information of the before and after photographs, which I also sent to the CPC so they can have them. So it's nice that that's completed and finished. Do you guys have any questions on the CPC update?
So the other CPC stuff we have going on is the Veterans Circle part of the CPC article?
Yeah, so that is under the Veterans Memorial Circle, which is under recreation. So we have historic recreation, then historic on the page. And then it says, our next year's expected CPC articles is the Veterans Memorial for the Revolutionary and Civil War soldiers. I do have a couple people that are working with me from the Historical Society, and we're cross-referencing each other just to make sure we don't forget anybody. Because you don't want to start the memorial and then have to add names after the fact. So we're trying to make sure that we have all the names and all of that
So
information.
for those memorials and that part of it, should we have somebody come up with a sketch or a preliminary design on how we want that all done?
Yeah, so as soon as I get all the names, if you guys want to think about looking at, if you have any free time to look at other memorials other towns have done, I think then we can,
Is this a bronze thing or etched in
no,
stone?
I think it should be etched in stone. I think bronze
So
is,
if we find somebody,
yeah,
it's no big deal to
Yeah.
add them. I mean, they don't redo the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in DC.
right,
They just
Because
add
they,
on.
of an oversight, they
Yeah.
just throw them at the end.
yeah.
I'm talking like the memorials, but more in the area, like we have a blueprint of basically where this veteran circle's gonna be.
Right.
If we
So-
want that walk, we should probably
Is that this?
lay that out on a document.
So
All right, so maybe this needs to be another line item. I really think we need a social media, and I'm Mr. Anti-social media, but
Yeah.
I really think we need it's time for a citizen committee to get involved with this,
Okay.
either for some fundraising,
So Shawnee-
corporate donations.
Shawnee really wants us to reach
VA.
out to the, what is it? It's not the VA, it's the group, that they meet at, all the veterans go to, like,
VFW,
maybe it is the VFW. Are they the ones in
that's the
Hyannis?
VFW. You've also got the American Legion.
Yeah. So I think the VFW actually has a lot of funds. A lot.
Well,
And
okay,
they might be going because a lot of their members are aging out or not as many people. If they can no longer have their group organized here on the Cape, the money then goes to the state. So then they really want to put the money on Cape Cod, so.
is there a conflict of interest if I build the Facebook page?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, but I don't think I should run it, and I really don't want to run it.
Right.
But at
I think
least to put the,
somebody would have to, from our group, would have to run it, because you'd want to make sure nobody puts anything on there that's
well, I think it
inappropriate.
has to be a private group.
Yeah,
So that means it's, everybody that joins is approved, and somebody has the ability to say, no.
yeah,
That's inappropriate.
right. Because you don't want to put
I
anything
mean,
on.
I do this for a beehive thing, and, yeah, you do get wackadoodles that try and join the group, and if you look at their Facebook page, you're going, no, sorry. You can't even answer the basic questions about a beehive, so
Sure.
go away. But this is something else where, so what do we do with Marceline?
So I oversee that one, and so I post any events we're having, or anytime I go in there and I see some, like, took a picture of a beautiful hawk. I don't know if you saw that one that I put on the page.
What about donations for Marceline? Are there any?
We don't get any. I mean, people donate trees and stuff, so we've had, I think, 6 trees totally donated at this point.
Is it a 511?
They
Whatever they
just, they buy the tree and bring it to us. They don't give us money.
Okay.
So they're
You
donating.
don't give them a receipt for a tax write-off?
No.
You can really use that.
Well, they haven't asked for one anyways. We would if they wanted to, us to, though, but,
Because I think, what was it, Megan last year answered this question, that people could donate to the Veterans Memorial
right.
payable to the town of Harwich.
Yeah, and I think that was all set up. Carol Capola set up an account for
Carol
us.
was doing it, yeah.
Yeah, because I want to sell bricks anyways. So the bricks that are around the, whatever, if we do that center thing. So if somebody wanted to do in memory of their,
See, that's why we need either a website or a Facebook page.
so the city of Waltham has that on their cemetery page. So on their cemetery page, they have, because they have a Veterans Memorial Circle, which is the one that I actually kind of modeled ours after, and they sell bricks, and you can buy them up to a certain date, and then they engrave them all one
In one
week.
setting.
Yeah,
So that's not gonna come up on a search per se, unless you're searching for Harwich
Right.
Veterans
Right.
Memorial. So to get it out there, you would wanna have a Facebook page, but then link it to that page.
right.
So who would do that page?
No, I don't think they would. I think we would have to do it.
On the town website?
Oh, no, so Caleb, you could do the link for us, right?
The link to what?
So if we did a Facebook page on our Veterans Memorial Circle,
No, the other way around.
Oh.
So you said Waltham does it on the cemetery.
yeah, so they have,
We would need that page on the cemetery site with all the forms for donating.
Right.
Receipts, whatever the classification is, whether it's whatever the IRS code is, 511
Yeah.
or something like that. If there is a tax receipt,
yeah,
you know, especially for businesses. I mean, that adds up for them and they can deduct it. I mean,
Right.
we're all stuck with
So they can
$300 a
link to
piece.
Facebook page.
But once that page is done, I mean, I'll do a Facebook page, I mean,
Okay.
and just, and like you
So,
did,
you know what,
moderate it.
I'm gonna put the forms that they have, so you guys can look at them to see if you wanna update them or change them. I'll try to make a copy of it, version of it with us, and then you guys can say whether you want that or not want that, or do whatever. And, we'll put that on the next packet, in the next packet.
So for the Facebook page, I need good copies of that,
Yeah,
the rendering of what it's gonna look like.
yeah. Okay, I'll also ask Paul, because Paul was updating one with the bricks on it for me.
Oh,
So, I'll email Paul and ask him about that as well, so we can get an updated, clean copy. And we can actually, I can tell him what you're thinking about putting around.
well,
he
and
can-
once those 2 pages are done,
Yeah.
then letters can go out to VFW, American Legion, the Veterans Administration,
Okay,
whatever, you know, to Zaros, maybe he can help spread the word.
he actually asked, and I did speak to him at one of our recent events, and, he asked me if he could be at the dedication when we do it on Veterans Day. So,
Yeah,
so I said, of
I'm
course.
sure he'll be very supportive of this, yeah.
I told him that we were going to be doing eventually, our people that died here in the town of Harwich, you know, in action. You know, I told him about Richard Rogers, and there's several other, I mean, there's, Tom Bluth's uncle was killed in, storming the beach in Normandy. I mean, we have quite a few that were killed in action, so, I told him that we would be, you know, having a, you know, I don't know if are we doing a Gold Star Families Memorial? Is that what we're doing?
Well, it was hard to come up with a list. Nobody was really forthcoming about
Right.
a list. You could
Right.
try here, you could try there. It was just,
Yeah, so I've been doing, every time I do any of my veterans, like now I've done all the Revolutionary and Civil War, and I have quite a few from the Civil War who died in action now. So I think if we continue, every time I'm going through my lists, and then I'm finding out if they died in action or if they died after, I'm putting those all in a list. I mean, I think it's just gonna take us a while to get all of those, because it's gonna be,
but if we were to do a gold star,
right,
I mean, think of how big the Vietnam Memorial is.
right,
And that will be one that continues and continues and
Right.
continues, sadly.
yeah.
So
But
it
I
may
think
be
it would
better to
be-
just have either on the walkway, in the walkway, something that this is dedicated to the Gold Star families,
Okay.
and explain what that means. you know.
Right. And we could add on this, on our new page for Evergreen Cemetery, we could show the Gold Star, and then as we get more and more names on that page, we could list all of our Gold Star
Oh, on the web.
on the web.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because we could always update that and add to it, and then if later down the pike, we want to do something to that effect, we can update it. Okay?
Yep, that's
Well, I mean,
lots of work there,
Lots of work.
but that'll be good. Then the next is an email from Megan Eldridge, IFP for East Harwich Union Cemetery gravestone.
Yeah, so that's all the bid documents that, we are gonna be going out for the East Harwich Union. And I think I kinda just brushed over on that, so the bid opening is on the 10th, which is, I think, next Wednesday, maybe?
Okay, here it is. It's all stapled together in the packet.
what are we in now?
Invitation for bids, East Harwich Union Cemetery. It's in about halfway through that.
Sorry, there was so much stuff. It was a busy month.
I bet it was. So now this is gonna go out for bid, and
Yeah, so they put it in combines because it's over the amount that we can. So they do all of the advertisement, they put it in the newspaper, they do all that. They get all the bids here, Megan will get all the bids. I'll just come to the opening and she'll just tell me who won. It actually works out better for me. So I mean, because it's all done, you know what I mean? And we don't have any, we just get the information after the fact and confirm that they have insurance and stuff like that. So I just put in the packet an update on the last tour of the cemetery that the AmeriCorps did. And then Maddie wrote a little thank you for coming to the visit. And I just put in some of the people that had attended the walk. I mean, Rob was there. I mean, they talked about all sorts of things I hadn't even heard from them. On some of the, things that were edible and not edible, and what you can make with some of the different, they were pretty amazing. So Jody, who was the
In the very, very back.
who was the conservation, so it's like, it has the picture. Sorry.
I know I saw it.
So it was kind of nice. They said it was, very informative. A lot of them loved the mimosa tree. Was in full bloom. Cindy, right next to you a lot. Cindy has a mimosa on her a lot, but the one next to it's got a huge mimosa on it. But so we were over there for a while, and they're all like, "Oh my God, this tree is so beautiful!" And I said, "Well, there's a ton of seed pods at the end of the season. Feel free to come and get them. You can grow them from the seed pods in like 2 weeks. I mean, they're pretty fast growing." So, I was very pleased with our AmeriCorps member this year, and looking forward to next year's.
An update on the tour of cemeteries.
That was that update on the tour.
Oh, that tour, okay.
Yeah. So then the next thing would be the dog.
Walking signs.
Yes. So I talked to Jennifer. She is the dog officer over at the police department.
Yes, the ACO, Animal Control Officer.
Animal control officer. And she's very nice. And she said, I asked her about the signs with the fines on them, and she said that we did not need to post the signs with the fine on them. That she will have, I emailed her the bylaw in the town meeting where it passed, and asked her, and she is going to be patrolling Evergreen and Island Pond. Those are really the two. We really don't have any issues in the other cemeteries. It's mostly Evergreen, to be perfectly honest with you. So she's going to be patrolling in there, and she will be issuing tickets and following through. So she will give them a, verbal warning, and tell them, just inform them, but she's gonna make sure that they know that they're not allowed to walk in the cemeteries anymore. It's unfortunate that,
So you don't want signs?
she doesn't think we need them. She says,
Signs that we got, as long as it's posted, and no
she says as long as it's posted that it says no dogs are allowed, we don't,
Oh, that's what I meant.
yeah, they're already posted. She says, there's no need for us to make another sign. She says they don't do that for all the other stuff, so she said she thinks it's fine the way it is.
Just gotta make sure that they're easily seen when they're at the
Right.
entrances.
We might order a couple more just to maybe put, I think there's one on Cemetery Road, and I think there's one on
39.
39, but I don't think there's one
On 137?
off of 137, the first paved entrance. So we could just put one more up there if you guys wanted me to grab a couple
Well,
more.
I mean, I think
A couple on
it
that,
wouldn't
because there's
hurt
a,
to tour all of the, just a quick drive-by.
Mm-hmm.
Every cemetery entrance, I think, should be marked.
Okay.
And if nothing else, because who usually is in the cemeteries and has to tell people no dogs?
Me.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
so it's much easier to say, it's posted, no dogs.
Yes.
It's actually a fine.
Right.
if
I,
they
well,
give you
I've been,
lip.
I've been doing that. I've been saying,
Well, I know you do. I'm just saying that if the sign is there, you can go,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, it's posted.
Yeah. And they usually say, oh, well, I bring my bags with me, I'm not hurt anything, da-da-da-da, and we're like, it's posted.
it's posted.
And they usually are like,
Bucks.
it doesn't hurt anything to walk through here, but
yeah.
just remind them.
That's all you can do.
And Jennifer is very nice. She helped me with a coyote issue just last week.
Oh,
very helpful.
You had coyotes?
Yeah, we woke up, came downstairs, and there were 2 coyotes sitting in the dirt, because we had taken trees down, now they're getting put back up. And it was graded, landscaped, there were 2 coyotes just sitting there. And I'm like, yeah, you need to go away. So I opened the door, went out there, they sat up, and like, what's up? You know, and then I just did the get big and get loud thing you would do, and that chased them away, but I emailed her and I said, what's appropriate?
Yeah.
Despite what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
But,
But you're behaving yourself, so.
well, it was, you know, the stance is to their wildlife, we have to get along with them.
There's,
Don't bite your
you
baby.
know, there's been a lot more wildlife out. There is a lot more deer in Island Pond than we, you know, normally I've seen them occasionally if I go in early morning. Last night I had to go mark, yesterday was a long day. I didn't get out. At 6 o'clock I was marking out graves. So, when I went in at 6 o'clock, there was a couple in there, just walking around. Like,
Yeah.
saw my car, didn't even run away. Just hanging out,
Getting used to people.
yeah.
Top
So,
of the deer tick chain.
There you go.
they're actually quite beautiful. I was
They
like,
are.
by the time you
absolutely.
get your phone out though, they moved.
Is there any other old business?
I don't think so.
Oh, is this on the list?
Yeah, that's under new business. But he called me, so I'm just gonna tell you, he was like, normally, I mean, he asked about this, his son's buried over on, this is Warren Nichols. His son buried over in Evergreen, and he wanted to, do insect control on all the grubs that were there, because there were so many turkeys. The turkeys were eating up all of the grass, because they were trying to get to the grubs, because there were so many grubs. But the grubs are gone now because there's no grass. So they probably moved on to other people's who have actually watered their lawns, but he doesn't think
Last
it's,
page.
Which section?
we shouldn't do it now anyways, you can't do it because you're gonna water. So you can't do it now, so he was like, it's kind of irrelevant at this point, there's no grubs there, so. But I had put this in the packet before, so I didn't remove it.
Have you seen that much damage?
They were in there, I have so many photos, when all the turkeys were in there, they tore up one whole section over at the veteran side, and then one whole section over in, kinda in the Nickerson section, but midway. When they were in there at the beginning of the season, there were a ton of grubs, and you could see them like literally scratching down to dirt to get them out. And we had a lot of turkeys in there.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. I don't know where they are now, because they're not in there anymore, so they must have moved on to somebody else's property, but they're
Seem to
not
have a
in.
low birth year this year. We usually have
A lot,
tons of babies around our house.
yeah.
2 here, 2 there. That's it.
Oh. Yep. So then we had bills. We have the Village Green Restoration, which we've already talked about, for $42,900. And I also had a bill that I just received, which was from Agway, for $351.26. That was from a few weeks ago. That was when Maddie was fixing up the front entrance. And I thought that was paid, but it wasn't apparently. And then we had quite a few deeds in Island Pond and one in Evergreen. And I think that's it.
Cool. So is Warren gonna, was that just the bid for this year, or is that like to control something for next year too? Or we get another bid?
I think we should revisit this in the fall and see if there's an issue. I just think we shouldn't do it now, obviously, because you can't water, you can't, you know what I mean? And we don't have any, there's no grubs there currently. But if it happens again, then potentially, but the grass isn't looking that great over there, we might want to think about something. I'd really like to do something at least before we do the dedication, so we'll revisit this, I think. Don't you think we should table this for another meeting?
Yeah, that until grubs, until become an issue again, or if we need to do
Isn't-
some preventative stuff for next year.
Yeah, isn't grubs a spring treatment?
Yeah.
We passed, I think, the treatments for that.
Because then they, and aren't they, are there other grubs besides the Japanese beetle ones?
There are other grubs.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we got the bills, the deeds, the final tree tour from,
Yeah, we already talked
Cover
about that,
that.
though.
any other new business? I think we should probably try to pick another time to tour the remaining cemeteries that we didn't get to.
Yeah,
the
we
other
need to
day.
get that done. I just can't do it the last week of August.
Do you guys have any time this week? Not Thursday, because it's gonna be 90.
Is it something
Actually,
can wait till
Friday's gonna be
September?
worse.
Well, it can, but I just didn't know if we wanted to do it
Yeah.
before we saw Jim and, because we're gonna ask them, Jim and Pete, to come to the next meeting, so I didn't know if you wanted to do it before
The
then.
6th, what about like the 9th?
I have
Because
my,
the 11th, 12th, and 13th, and that following weekend, we gotta babysit our grandsons, because our daughter is moving, so we get the boys.
I can't do the 9th, that's the day I have my appointments.
What about the 8th?
I can do the 8th.
I think so. That Monday?
Yep.
I mean, there's a chance of showers, but it's gonna be warm. But I know a guy with a big truck with air conditioning.
You're fabulous.
It's comfortable. All right, so Monday, the 8th?
Oh, I can't, I have my Massachusetts Cemetery Board meeting that day.
Nope, so can't do it then. And you can't do Tuesday.
Well, can we,
Or I could do Tuesday if I'm, my appointment's not till 12:30, if we wanna do
Well-
early morning.
It's gonna be way cooler on Thursday, the 11th.
See, I gotta go pick up the grandkids.
Yeah.
If you go the following week, 15th, 16th,
I won't be around.
When do you get back?
I hope not for a while. A few weeks at least.
You guys have anything on Thursday or Friday?
Which Thursday?
This one?
no.
Thursday, the 4th? Yeah, I'm free.
If we do it, we're gonna do it early, because it's gonna be hot there.
Thursday, the 4th? That worked better.
Okay, Thursday, the 4th, what time?
Oh,
9?
wait a minute, can we do that? I don't think we can do it, because I gotta post it.
Us doing a tour?
It's
I'll check.
Because we're all together.
Because we're all together.
It just, after this, run down and see if we can post something to do it
Okay.
for that day.
All right.
And then
What time do you guys wanna meet?
you can start at 8:30, 8 o'clock, I don't care.
Early's good.
8 or 8:30? I'm in at 7, so it doesn't matter to me.
Let's go 8 o'clock, we'll meet at your office and we'll
Okay.
take off to.
Some of us are retired here, what are you doing?
8:30?
Too, yeah.
8:30? We can do
Okay, we'll go
8:30.
8:30. Oh,
I don't care.
Which time?
I used to have to get
Go
up at
eight-
2:30
go
in the
eight-
morning for a flight. That's like,
8:30 is fine.
Okay. And what do we do, which ones we gotta do? We gotta do Kelly?
we should do everything we have.
We have Kelly, the one on Queen Anne Road. Have we done
The East Howard Baptist?
East Harwich Baptist or the Union Church?
I mean, the East Howard Union.
Oh.
Sorry.
And there's the one on Queen Anne Road,
Yeah.
Hawk's Nest.
Hawk's Nest.
I mean, we did so many the other day, I mean.
Yep, so we're almost done.
Can't you just
Did we
look at-
do
look-
Evergreen?
No,
We did at we started walking and then
Yeah.
you had to go somewhere, so we can put that on and walk through that as a final thing.
Okay.
Maybe we can start to pick out where we want the Walk of Remembrance to go and start to get a plan for that, so that area is safe for
yeah,
that.
the last time we did that, we split. Steve and I finished the meeting, but that's when we decided to move the
Gazebo?
bandstand, gazebo, thanks.
And that
the
is still
one-man
sitting in the
bandstand.
middle?
Yep.
We need-
They're gonna move it, the guys are gonna move it. Where do you guys wanna put it?
We can discuss that then.
TBD.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, that, and we could do that, and the next meeting would be on the
September 6th,
6th.
which is the day after Labor Day. Is that okay for everybody, or do you want me to move it to the next week?
Following would be better for me, but,
I mean, I can do it,
Then let's go the 13th.
yeah.
okay. I'll change that downstairs.
Okay, that would be good. Does anybody have any other business, old business?
I'd just like to ask, are you gonna be able to do minutes for like this meeting?
Yeah, I can do these ones, yeah.
Okay. If you find yourself getting behind or whatever, do speak up and let
Yeah.
us know. And if you could try not to give them to us like the night before.
I know, well, I've been, I've been a little
unusual,
out
I
straight.
I mean, I appreciate you
Usually I
getting
try to
them
get it
done.
to Rob a week before, and then
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, even then, like, when we did the tour and I typed up those minutes,
yeah,
I went home, had lunch,
yeah,
typed up the minutes.
yeah.
Because it was there,
Right.
as opposed to, you know, waiting. And now I know you're going through videos and stuff, and did you try the software yet
No,
that translates? Boy, I would do that.
yeah. When I leave here, I have to go mark out graves, so I have.
No, I know you can't do it right
Yeah.
now. I'm just saying that
Yeah,
I agree with Cindy that it needs to not be the night
Right.
before.
Okay,
And I do have the other months. I will
Yeah.
have them for the next meeting for sure.
okay.
I'll get them to you guys to approve them before that.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't able to type them up because my printer ran out of ink.
Yeah.
Not cool.
That's always fun, isn't it?
Mm.
Then the other thing I was thinking too is also, would you want to get together before the next meeting? You and I can go over the packet and put that together?
Sure.
So we can help you out a little bit and do that, and
Yeah, it was, so I was, actually, Sue, the nurse, came in and she was helping me because I was there. She comes into my office at 5, she's like, do you want me to help you staple stuff? And then Carolyn kicked me out of the community center.
because then it would help a little bit, you know, to know what's going
Yeah.
on before, like 2 days before.
Yeah,
So like
Yes.
a week before, something like that, we'll get together at some point.
Yep.
It's the 13th, so sometime after Labor Day, the first week, we'll get together and just
sure.
go over what you need for meetings, or if you guys have any things you want to add, just let me know and we'll put it in the next docket.
Great.
So I'll make a draft on what we talked about today. And then if I get any, what happens is as I get emails and stuff, then I add it to the agenda, which then has to be posted.
See, I know we talked about it before the summer. This is why you need an assistant.
Yeah,
And they would either be at the office right now,
Mm-hmm.
or for this meeting, could be sitting right there, getting this all done,
Yeah.
and it's done.
yeah.
What happened with the North Harwich Revolutionary War?
So it's just like this vendor that they can't, the monument's not finished.
Okay.
So, and I have to tell you, Steve, Gonzalez, is it Gonzalez?
Mhm.
So him and his wife have been cleaning, have you been down there? They've been cleaning every monument in that cemetery.
Awesome.
It looks, I had a funeral there yesterday, and people were taking photographs of they were like, these monuments look great, they're all clean. I was like, yeah, here for volunteer.
Places that was all trimmed out and everything, looked good.
Yeah, it did, looked very nice.
Yeah, be sure to let us know, when you find out, let us know when that's gonna be.
I know, I wish, I had called Duncan, I'm like, what's the scoop? Because it's still not in. I was like, geez, it seems
That's
like,
too bad.
I know, that was supposed to be in, what, May?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's still delayed. So that tells you how far out the
Yeah.
monument people are, which is unfortunate because that's gonna be great. Yeah, there's a ton of people that wanna go to that. People keep asking me, when is that happening? When is that happening?
I'm afraid that the memorial circle's probably gonna be delayed too. I don't think we're gonna get it done in time.
Well,
But
I'm
hopefully-
pushing. I'm
hopefully-
pushing for it.
We'll
I'm gonna have to
Maybe we
talk
can
to
get
the.
that ring done quicker than a whole big granite.
Yeah, we could have just the ring done. And then
Have the
we could-
ring done where it sets up, probably 6 inches or so the letters are nice. And then patio the top or do a planting in there or something.
Well, and what's the process for selling stones?
So,
Because-
so what happens is you put all the bricks in, it's just like they do at the community center, and then when they come in to engrave them, the engraver comes over and engraves them.
They engrave them in place.
Oh, yeah, and engrave them in place. Sometimes they'll engrave them and then just swap them out if they can't do them all in place, but for the most part, they can engrave them right in place. There's one guy that works for Tom, he goes around and does all his engraving on all the memorials, like he adds the end years, does whatever, so it's pretty good.
Okay. Do we hear a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Seconded?
Yep.
So moved. Meeting's over at 10:21.